was a kid, my mom would often take me to Dodgers baseball games during summer break. I never really got into the sport of baseball, but it was always a fun treat when we got to go to a game because of the food they had there. Actually, I don't know if my mom ever even realized that. Yet one Christmas morning, I woke to find a new game under the tree with the name of Mario Super Sluggers. Not Super Mario Sluggers. I know, it's a crime. And I can't stop saying Super Mario Sluggers, so forgive me. Mario Super Sluggers is an entry in the infamous Mario Sports series of spin-off games. It's a sort of sequel to Mario Superstar Baseball for the GameCube, I guess, which I only played at a relative's house but never owned for myself, so unfortunately I am unable to compare the two for anyone curious in this review. In regards to this game, however, I remember greatly enjoying this title quite a bit when I first played it. I am a fan of the other Mario Sports games, namely Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, Mario Tennis Open, and Mario Sports Mix. Oh, and during the most recent Nintendo Direct, it was announced there was a new Mario Sports game called Mario Sports Superstars, which looks like a treat all the same. Anyways, with all that said, let's knock this review right out of the park. Mario Super Sluggers is, as you could guess from the title, a baseball game for the Wii featuring Mario and friends. Surprisingly, this game has a lot of depth for a Mario sports game. So let's work our way around, shall we? There are a grand total of 9 stadiums to play on, each with their own distinct music, themes, and gimmicks, such as the roaring Wario City, a diamond located in front of Wario's personalized theater in his egotistical metropolis. This road crossing has 2 gimmicks, being the manholes, which can cause the outfielder to temporarily lose the ball, and the traffic arrows, which will change the way that the ball bounces based on the way the arrow is pointing. Another stadium that really stuck out to me was the unlockable level Daisy Cruiser. At first, this level may not seem like much aside from the fact that it's set on board the Daisy Cruiser, making a return from Mario Kart Double Dash. You'll clearly see that the field is set on the dining deck of the ship, as tables are set all over the area, which provides an inconvenience to any outfielder planning on making a straight shot to where the ball will land. These tables, however, can be broken by the ball until the game reloads for the next batter, that is. As neat, or well, fine as that may sound, that's hardly the gimmick to this stadium. Instead, between innings there's a random chance a giant glooper blooper will rise out of the water and tilt the way to the ship. This, for the remainder of that inning half, will affect the ball as gravity is now shifted at an odd angle. It's a weird idea that you would only expect to find in a quirky game like this, and Nintendo really hit a home run with all the other stadium designs as well. Each stadium actually feels like real chunks of the Mushroom Kingdom were taken from their original locations and brought aboard this island, which is essentially the case. But more on that in a moment. On top of each arena feeling unique from its atmosphere, you can also spice things up by playing just about every level in either day or night. I say just about, as there are a few stadiums that require it to be a certain time of day to have access to, these being Bowser Jr.'s Playroom, Bowser Castle, and Luigi's Mansion. Mario Super Sluggers' core gameplay pitches you to, well, play baseball. I'll spare you the in-depth rundown of how baseball works and instead jump straight into what this game does to mix up the formula. In a standard exhibition match, you will start things off by selecting a stadium, and then selecting your team captain. There are 12 possible captains to choose from, each with their own unique abilities, stats, and team branding. When playing with 2 players, you also get the choice of working together on one team or against each other on separate teams. After your captain is selected, you can then build your team. The out-of-package game has a few characters to start off with, but by playing challenge mode, you can unlock new teammates like Baby Daisy, Blooper, and even King K. Rool from Donkey Kong Country. Is that you, buddy old friend? It's been so long. Heartwarming reunions aside, there are over 40 teammates to choose from after unlocking them all, including certain characters like Yoshi's, Toad's, and Hammer Brothers having alternate skins that don't take up character slots. Oh, and to satisfy all those casual players who always dreamed of playing sports without actually playing sports, any Mii saved onto your system can be used in a ball game. Every Mii has the same stats, so playing with them isn't even all that great. Not to mention, the Miis for some reason have really blurry faces. When building your team, it's important to pay close attention to every character's stats and skills. Certain characters have abilities that most, if not all the other characters, cannot use. Such as how the Yoshis have an extended catching range by grabbing the ball with their tongue, all at the push of a button. Although building a team with slammers might be a good strategy, the other team can counter that if they position their outfield just right to create chemistry between the players. You see, certain characters who have positive relations with one another will have chemistry. Yoshis have chemistry with the babies, Mario's chemistry with Peach and Luigi, Goombas with Paragoombas, or any character with an alternate skin, just to name a few. Also, I just want to make special mention that King Boo and King K. Rool have chemistry only because they're both kings. It's both funny and cool to me. I don't know if it's funny and cool to you, but it is to me. Chemistry on the field will result with various effects, such as throwing the ball faster to them, or if one of those grand slammers knock one headed straight out of the park, you can have two chemistry outfielders do a buddy jump to catch any fly ball, resulting in an out and a satisfactory denied point. When two teammates are up to bat after one another and they have chemistry, the batter will be given the opportunity to use an error item. Error items can be used to make the outfield mess up in several ways, such as shooting balls of fire, causing an earthquake, or even making the ball disappear. While on the topic of the Mini Boo error item, I especially appreciate how you can still catch the ball or pick it up if it's invisible. So to help balance this, the developers made the AI temporarily not react at all when the ball is invisible, even on the hardest difficulty. The controls for Mario Super Sluggers have the player swinging the Wii Remote for most actions and pressing buttons for others. You can play the game with the Wii Remote sideways, but I recommend using the nunchuck as an analog feels much more accurate when you're chasing down the ball. For pitching, you have a few various ways to throw the ball. You can swing fast for a regular pitch, or slowly swing up and then down for a charge pitch. You can even hold the A button to lob the ball in the air, which is more useful on the human players than the AI. For outfielding, you'll have to keep track of a few details. First and foremost, you will pick up the ball automatically if you approach it on the ground, and you will usually catch the ball every time it's thrown to you. However, for as simplistic as it might sound, outfielding is quite a tedious position. You will have to waggle the Wii Remote to make your outfielders run, which will in turn make you throw the ball accidentally sometimes. Keep in mind, by holding any direction on the analog stick, the outfielders were thrown to that base. Down is home plate, right is first base, up is second, and third is left. When I first picked up the game, I struggled a lot with this mechanic, and while I did eventually get used to it, my friends didn't get as much playtime as I did, so they had to struggle a bit more with it and attempt to teach themselves faster. Usually it does like a special animation when you get a home run. It'll try to be all epic.
Throw it! Why are you jump like that? Throw it!
This is so dumb.
Why would you... Go!
Another problem with outfielding is the way the game determines who you're going to control. For most cases, the game will force you to control whichever character is closest to where the ball will end up, which seems to make sense at first. However, more times than not, the character the game selects you to play as is off-screen when you try to start controlling them. There are a few questionable moments where I feel I could have been more efficient had there been a button I could press to switch between outfielders at will. Something tells me we made a mistake. Why am I down there? Who am I even controlling?
I know! Maybe you need to not... What? It switched characters on me!
Batting is also a little bit tricky to aim. In the single-player challenge mode, there are a few times where the game tries to get you to hit to a specific field. While it does eventually tell you how, the whole process takes a lot to focus on and figure out the timing for, which realistically is the case with actual baseball, but there really is no good way to practice it. In any case, the batting team has a few less things to worry about, but still notable all the same. You have regular swings, charge swings, and even bunting by holding the Z button, and then the opportunity to use error items if the chemistry is connected. Using error items requires you to point at the screen and aim towards the area of effect. This too can be a bit awkward, as you will have to decide between pointing at the screen to use your error item, or to waggle to make your runners advance to the base quicker. When runners are advancing, you can press and hold the A button to tell them to keep running and make toward the next base. If you get in a fuzzy pickle, however, you can always press B to make the runner try to go to the last base they were on. This, again, can sometimes lead to slightly unfair plays. I won't really fault the game for it, but my friends and I found ourselves accidentally pressing the B button sometimes, which will cause the runner to stand idle, if the button isn't held. So I'd often get out simply because I bumped the button while furiously waggling. As I said previously, this game has a surprising amount of depth to it as well. You can steal bases by holding the advance button and pointing to the direction of the base stolen, and even pull off quick time events for close plays. Star moves can be toggled on and off before the match, along with inning count, error items, and mercy mode, which basically just ends the game if an inning ends with one team 10 points ahead. By holding A and B when either pitching or batting, you can use some of your star power to unleash an ultimate move. Every captain has a special animation and gimmick to their star moves, whereas other teammates will have just a shinier, more effective move. It's a bummer that not every character got their own animations, but it's fairly obvious why. Of all the things to find in a sports game, I never expected to find a story mode. And well, the single player mode, otherwise known as challenge mode, is something that really both makes and breaks this game. So let me just give you a simplified rundown of this simplistic story, not that there's really anything for me to spoil. Mario and friends are invited to Princess Peach's new attraction, the Baseball Kingdom, which is a carefully constructed island where baseball is king and fun is the law. But our law here is quickly broken when the Bowser Co., Ltd., try to coup d'etat by taking over the 5 main stadiums of the Baseball Kingdom. Luigi, as brave as you might not think he actually is, rushes in after Bowser Jr., who is headed towards Mario Stadium. Not too far behind is our rad-clad in red Super Mario himself, rushing in to investigate. Upon his arrival to the scene, Luigi reports that Bowser Jr. and his cronies are nowhere to be found. So, with a sigh of both relief and caution, Luigi and Mario set out to build a team to take down Bowser Jr. And that's it. No, really, that's the whole plot. Just go around the Baseball Kingdom and recruit as many teammates as you can, so you can challenge Bowser Jr. in his home field. I mean, there is kind of an underplot that Bowser is involved as he's standing in the shadow right here, but who and their grandparents couldn't figure that one out? Anyways, in challenge mode you control 5 team captains in order to rebuild the teams and take back the stadiums for Bowser Jr. 99% of the time you must complete some sort of scout mission to recruit the teammates. Some of them are pretty easy and even helpful too. If this is your first time playing the game, aside from the fact of unlocking the few missing characters, challenge mode is hands down the best way to learn how to play the game. So I recommend starting with it. Scout missions always ask you to do one task and one task only, and with the exception of the ones at Mario Stadium, they're all optional, so if one ever gets too tough, you can always just skip it and come back later. Anyone looking to complete challenge mode all the way through though better have a lot of patience though. Oh boy do you need it. Yes, most of the missions aren't that bad at all, others are downright brutal and almost rely on luck to pass. Take another look at this mission asking me to hit to a certain field. It would be one thing if the game asked me to hit the ball in a certain direction, but the game is very picky about it. Even a slight bit off and the game will be giving you another dose of oops, which you will see a lot. Ha! And get this, if you hit the ball to that area and the ball gets caught... Also, let me talk a little briefly about the AI. When you start a match, you can select one of 4 different difficulties for it. The first difficulty is of course easy, the second difficulty medium, and the third hard. And the 4th difficulty is freaking intense. Maybe there's just something that I missed with the way that baseball works, but I'm pretty sure the AI sometimes cheats on this difficulty. And I'm not just saying that because I literally rage quit so many times on this Bowser fight. But I'm pretty sure that you're supposed to go back to the base when the ball is caught. Yet right here, he freaking stole a base. You better teach yourself how to play fast if you don't already know how when you start this mode. You will have to challenge Bowser Jr. 3 separate times outside of having to play him in his home field, which at first might not seem like all that much. But when you beat him in one stadium, he'll start the next stadium with an additional point for literally no reason. What the heck? When exploring the 5 stadiums, you'll quickly find that challenge mode actually has a bit of puzzle solving element to it as well. Nothing the game throws at you is ever confusing, but there are these motion control segments that can get really tedious. As previously mentioned, in the exploration segments you'll also find yourself switching between different team captains. And they each have their own special abilities. Wario can open chests and use his magnets, DK can climb vines and smash things, Yoshi can go under manhole covers and shake things out of trees, and finally, Mario can use warp pipes and yell at bushes.
It's me, Mario!
What? The last major feature of Super Sluggers is the minigames, and well, I don't really have much to say on these. There is a minigame for every stadium, and they each focus on individual skills for the main game. Batting, hitting to fields, outfield running, base running, pitching throws, catching, pitching strength, and hitting to fields again. Seriously, like, what's the point of this one? The only one that really stood out to me was the Luigi's Mansion minigame, but that might just be because I'm a big fan of the Luigi's Mansion games, if you couldn't tell based on how many times that stadium was shown in this video. In recap, Mario Super Sluggers is an ambitious entry in the Mario Sports series. It brought some great level design and a fantastic cast of playable characters. However, this game does have a few flaws that bring down the experience. The game's choice of who you control in the outfield is questionable at times, and sometimes infuriating. Not to mention, it's not exactly easy for a newcomer to pick up and play this at his friend's party. Every time I introduced my friends to this game, I had to set aside 5 minutes to explain every little detail about it. It's that bad. And its story mode was a great idea, but I can't help but feel like it's missing a little polish. Overall, Mario Super Sluggers has earned a C- from Gaming Outlet. My fondness of the game as a kid just really wasn't able to hold up, but it still certainly has some redeemable qualities. And from the looks of it, Mario Sports Superstars seems to tweak some of the baseball gameplay, so perhaps it will live up to what I was expecting. Hey, thanks for watching this video review. I appreciate any and all feedback you can send us just so we can make even better videos in the future. You can do so by either liking or disliking the video, and even telling us your direct opinions down in the comments. And while you're writing that comment, just let us know if there's any game you'd like to see us cover. Seriously, we're all ears here. And if you're curious what we're up to here at Gaming Outlet, you can follow our channel on Twitch as well. We're gonna be doing streams at least once a week on various games, so come over and hang out for a bit. We also have a Twitter where we post news tidbits, interact with fans, and share all those dank memes. And as always, be sure to subscribe so you can stay plugged in to the Gaming Outlets.